This is Pop Culture on Blast. Hey, I'm Josh.
And I'm Tim.
So you're a big fan of Pet Sematary,
Yes.
right? Okay, so you read the book.
I read the book during my Stephen King phase. Well, my whole phase was I would read the book and then watch the movie.
And the reason we're talking about this is because there's a new movie coming out.
Yes, they're doing a full remake of it.
So it's a full remake. This isn't a sequel, this is a remake.
No, they already did the sequel.
There's a new movie coming out, and I just watched this version last night, and after I'd watched it, I read about this remake that was coming out. And I'd read that they're actually switching things up a little bit. That instead of the son dying, it's going to be the daughter.
Yes.
Spoilers, but apparently it's already out there anyway.
It was in the new trailer, and that was just ridiculous.
Okay, I didn't watch the trailer. I avoided it. I didn't want to go into it. I just read the article, and they mentioned that we're doing this change-up. Stephen King approves. He's not so much of a stickler with his adaptations anymore.
Well, obviously, because no one does them really right.
Well, sometimes.
I've read a lot of Stephen King's books, and then I watched a lot of his movies. Okay. Most of them are, at best, 50% accurate.
Well, okay, in terms of their accuracy, but I was thinking more along the lines of quality, right? When I think of his movies that are good, I think of Stand By Me, I think of Misery, Shawshank Redemption. I don't know how close those are to the source material. But
they are on the closer end, but then you have movies like Thinner,
The Shining, Maximum Overdrive.
Hey, Maximum Overdrive was based on a short story.
I know.
And with what they did, that was an amazing movie. I love that movie because it's just so stupid, it's funny.
Oh, I think it's a great time. It's completely ridiculous.
It is.
And, a funny anecdote about that is people have asked Stephen King, you've probably heard this, people have asked Stephen King, how come you haven't directed again? Or how come you don't? And he said, watch Maximum Overdrive, because he did direct that movie.
I have no problem with it. That's a good little movie. You just want to sit down and be entertained.
I know, but vending machines killing people, it's just, it is a little goofy. But back to Pet Sematary.
Yes.
Okay, so because if people clicked on this episode, that's what they expect to hear?
Yes, they will.
Oh, by the way, Justin's not here. Anybody listening's probably...
Yeah, that's why it's quieter than normal.
Probably figured that out. Justin is really sick or something, and he was, I don't know, too lame to get down to the studio to record with us. So
seriously,
he's not here. So with this remake, I'm right now, I don't know how you're feeling about it, because this was your suggestion. This is something that you really wanted to talk about. But from my point of view, I'm not feeling like it's going to turn into something really great. If we're going off of some recent adaptations, and one in particular, and that would be It. I'm thinking it's going to be along those lines. And if it's going to be like It, it's going to be a whole lot of flash and little substance.
I think they have a major problem with this movie, and that's the simple fact they turned it into a creepy little white girl movie. That creepy little white girl who is the scary Amara coming out of the
You're talking about The Ring,
it's a cliche, right? Yeah. It's more than just The Ring. That's the easiest example. It's a cliche now. You have the creepy little white girl, and they have masks, for goodness sakes. It's ridiculous. There are more kids. It looks like there were dead kids that have come back from what I've seen from the trailer. And the whole point of the movie is that you have a little innocent baby, little Gage. He doesn't look like he's going to be a psycho killer. He doesn't look like he's going to mess you up, but he does. And he does in that little creepy baby voice that to this day certain people get creeped out if you find someone who can sound exactly like that. I think the original version of Pet Sematary was a little bit more than what people would expect, because little psycho kid, she's older, she's like 8. That's more expected than like a 3-year-old sitting there wielding his father's scalpel going after the next door neighbor.
Yes. Yes. By the way, now that we're back onto the 1989 version, it definitely wasn't bad. I was entertained, but the father, who was Lewis. Okay, Lewis.
Yes.
And the actor, by the way, for some reason I kept thinking it was the Flash from the 90s. But I'm like, that's not the Flash. That's someone else. That was I looked him up and I'm like, that's not him. It looks like him, but it's not him. Anyway, Denise Crosby's in it.
Yes.
Tasha Yar's in it.
Yes, she is.
Fresh from leaving TNG, probably.
I believe that was like her first actual movie role. That was supposed to be her big break.
Yeah, and I thought she was pretty good.
She was.
And a little sad because she definitely had a quality, and her career kind of didn't take off, I'm guessing, the way she wanted to. That's too bad. So it's a little sad seeing her in there. But, okay, talking about the dad, right? Did this guy have problems making proper judgments? What was logic? What's going on in his mind?
For a doctor, he was really an idiot.
He certainly seemed to be. Okay, for one thing, everybody in that movie was completely shadowed by Fred Gwynne. I believe that's the actor's name, Fred Gwynne.
The neighbor?
The neighbor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Herman Munster.
Heck yes.
He stole everything he was in, and it made these other, the other actors who were good kind of look just much lesser than. But right from the get-go, after when Church dies, the cat Winston Churchill, great name. If I have a cat, I think I might name it Winston Churchill. When he takes him to this cemetery, it's like, oh, let's bury him in the Pet Sematary. No. Let's take him to this cursed Indian burial ground instead. Oh, that's a great idea, Fred Gwynne. And then he takes him there, and it takes seemingly all night to bury this cat, and he doesn't question him about it, and then just goes to bed and calls it a day.
Well, okay, his logic made sense within the frame of the movie. Is that when he was younger and his dog got killed, he went and was able...
The Fred Gwynne character.
Fred Gwynne, yes. Fred Quinn's character went, buried him, his dog came back. And then he was able to learn to let go because of that, because he found out it truly wasn't him. He was just attempting to give the doctor's daughter a chance to be able to say goodbye to Church.
I got that part.
And that's sweet and extremely misguided. And there's magic ground over here that'll bring the dead back to life. That's always a good thing, yeah.
No. In Fred Gwynne's perspective, it makes sense.
Total sense.
But from the dad's perspective, from Lewis's perspective, he never seemed to really question why he was doing it.
Dude,
he didn't know that the cat was going to come back to life. He didn't know that.
He didn't believe it.
Well, but still, it's like, okay, so... No, it just... Okay, that was the first lapse of judgment.
Yes.
Okay, then his son dies. I'm going to bury him too, even though he's going to turn into a psycho killer. Probably. And he did. Then, when you think there can be no more resurrections, his wife dies.
Yeah.
You're like, surely he's not going to think of doing it again.
Well, she's fresher this time. It's not as... It hasn't been as long.
I know, but certainly at that point, I was like, he's not going to... No. They're not going to do it again. Like, the movie's almost over. And then they did it again.
Yep. And the whole time he had a ghost of somebody he tried to save tell him not to do this. The whole time.
What? You're the Pet Sematary expert in the room, and there's only two of us. So you're the expert. I did not get what that character was all about. Okay. That ghost character.
The ghost character was a bicyclist who got hit by a semi.
Right.
The doctor was trying to save his life.
Yes.
When the ghost, I can't remember his name, but when he crossed over, he saw what was coming, and he wanted to help and warn the doctor not to do it. Not to...
When he crossed over...
When he died, when he passed on. He didn't go over to the other side. He stayed because the doctor tried everything he could to save this man's life. He wouldn't give up. They had to actually, if you remember, he had to be physically stopped trying to save this guy.
Okay, maybe I'm misremembering that part. I just remember the guy arriving at the hospital, dead, and then he started talking to Lewis.
Because there's a whole part where where Lewis was trying to save him. And so the guy respected Lewis enough to try and help him not do what he was doing, to figure out that sometimes dead is better.
Well, I thought that maybe I had missed something. I thought that maybe this guy was haunting Lewis about something in his past, the way that the Denise Crosby character, his wife, was haunted about her sister who had, was it spinal meningitis or
I
something
think so.
like that? And I thought it was something like that. I was like, okay, maybe they're both haunted by this past memory that they just can't get over. But it didn't seem to be that at all. It was something very, very current for him.
Yeah, this guy was straight a ghost. He's the one who convinced them, Denise Crosby and the daughter, to leave after everything, get the daughter out of the picture just in case. Because he knew what he was going to do, and he was trying to stop him. That's why he tried to get Denise Crosby back so fast. That's why he was helping her the whole time, trying to get her to convince him to stop.
Okay, what was the... what do you think that background for Denise Crosby's character was all about?
I honestly don't know. I don't remember.
Okay, I mean, I hate to cut you off, but while it's on my mind, because you saw this when you were very young, right?
Yes.
Did that not creep you out?
It creeped me out so
I'm
much.
Thinking like, holy crap.
That was the eye over the hands over the eye scene for me.
Okay, because that was kind of freaky looking.
Creepy little baby, psychotic cat, dead wife. I'm totally okay with.
But that sister
is what creeped me the hell out.
And was that a male actor?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. Definitely looked a little masculine. Okay. I was just trying to find a theme in it. I don't know if it was in the book. I'm guessing it was, but Fred Gwynn's character, Denise Crosby's character, seemed to be haunted by a past pain. And it was being kind of resurrected because of this, burial ground. This Pet Sematary, and then this Indian. It was an Indian thing, right?
It's an Indian thing past the Pet Sematary.
Native American.
Well, technically it was Indian then, so.
Well, you know what I mean.
PC now.
Yes. I thought that, okay, then maybe that's just this running through line. But it didn't seem to completely cohesively come together for me. Was it there in the book?
It was more there in the book.
Is it something that you think is being woven into this new version?
I honestly don't know. From what I've seen from the last trailer, I'm extremely disappointed in the direction they're going. It's the daughter. It was never about the daughter. It was always about the baby, innocence and youth. And yes, the daughter is young and innocent as well, but not a 2-year-old, not someone who has a hard time walking. That was the whole point. It was supposed to be innocent. That's what pushes him over the edge. I can understand the whole losing the daughter thing, and then they turned it into creepy wife because now she's wearing an evil-looking bunny mask for some reason. That the other kids apparently have a big ceremony when they bury their pets, and they have masks and stuff. So she's running around as dead, wearing this mask, doing what she's doing. And it's like, we've seen that 100 times already.
And I'm guessing they're going to bring about this resurrected dead daughter much earlier in the movie.
Most likely.
Because that little boy died over an hour, like an hour and 15 minutes. It was
over halfway through it.
It was well into the movie, and I had completely forgotten about the fact that one of those kids is probably going to die, and then he died. I'm like, oh, well, this is kind of late for that, isn't it? I'm still trying to figure out the logic of the movie, because I just don't know if they're going to apply the same thing to this remake. Like, why did the dad keep trying to do this over and over again when clearly it wasn't going to work?
Well, it worked on Church. Church came back. Church came back bad.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it was too long. Maybe because it's not human. Let's try Gage.
Yeah.
Gage was gone too long. My wife will be okay.
So what do you expect from this? I mean, do you really expect good things from this remake? So are your hopes high is what I'm getting at.
My hopes are medium.
Medium.
Only because I'll still watch it. Even with the whole problem with them switching it to Gage, I want to see what else they changed. See if they did anything good. I like John Lithgow.
Right, he's playing the character that Fred Gwynn played.
Yeah, he's playing him. So I automatically, that's a win for me.
That was a good choice.
Because he perfect. You can't get Herman Mustard. So
Colonel Mustard.
No, I can't remember who that was, but that was a different person.
That's Martin Mull.
Yes, see,
Yes,
there
I
you
know.
go. See, you know where I went.
Yes, I know.
He's a good actor. I think if anyone could, he would be able to make this movie salvageable with the choices they made. Because Stephen King's like, okay, just do what you want with my movies now.
Yeah, at this point, I guess he's lost interest in, because he hated The Shining.
Oh God,
He was on
yes.
record of hating it, but he doesn't seem to have that same approach towards his adaptations anymore.
Well,
Maybe it's just he's getting older.
we'll see
and
what
doesn't-
happens with Doctor Sleep. Doctor Sleep is the direct sequel to The Shining with the kid only older.
Oh, I see.
And so I don't know how they're going to do that because at the end of the book, the hotel is burned down.
So if it's going to follow like the movie's continuity or the books, well, get up on your soapbox for a moment. This is, Pet Sematary and Stephen King is by far more your thing than mine.
Yes.
So, what do you want to say about this remake? What do you want to see? What don't you want to see?
I didn't want to see a swap in the character line with who dies because to me that was
That
core to the father.
that really bothers you.
Well, that would I believe that losing someone that young would push him more into it and not be able to listen to where no one can tell him no. Yes, the daughter is still young, but to lose a child 2 years old.
And you think they did it just because of the creepy girl effect, like The Ring did?
Look at all the other movies that have. It's a cliche, the creepy white girl.
Well, I know it was, but
Yeah.
is it still?
It is, because in parody movies, they still, there's a creeper I could punch her in the face. You see videos on YouTube all the time where they'll just have the little white girl standing over there, do a little giggle, and people freak and run away. I feel that it wasn't necessary to change. I feel that they could have literally done a stronger version of the original story with a little bit more development. Because you really don't get character development. You attach yourself to the kids because they're young kids, but I only felt more with the mom because the dad's a freaking idiot. Everyone's telling him no. He's like, yes, no, yes, no, yes. I don't want to do this. They'll come back as murderous, rampaging people, and it'll be fine. I know better than you.
Do you know if they're planning on paying any kind of homage to the 1989 version?
I honestly, so far, haven't seen anything. There's not a lot out there. There's just like the one major trailer.
Well, I noticed that Stephen King had a cameo. He was the priest.
Yes.
In the cemetery.
He did his cameos during that time frame where he would be in everything. I didn't remember seeing him in the latest version of It.
Yeah, he's not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
I was wondering if he might come back to do another cameo.
I don't know. It depends on if he likes it or not. According to this, he helped write some of the screenplays.
I don't know. I don't think he cares because when I saw him doing press for It, and it was what, 2 years ago?
Yes.
He was saying like, "Oh, I really like this adaptation now. Yeah, I approve of a lot of it. Yeah." And then I watched the movie. I'm like, Steven, this isn't that good. This is kind of like mediocre. Why would you like this? I think he just doesn't care.
A lot of it had to be changed because like the kid orgy and stuff like that had to be obviously removed for obvious reasons.
Yes, I've heard about this many times.
No one
since
wants
the
to
movie
see that.
came out.
I think he's got to the point to where he's tried to be more hands-on, and it comes out not as well.
Well, as far as Stephen King goes, I've never been a huge fan of his. I think he's clearly he's obviously a very prolific writer. He's very talented. I don't like the genre. That's why I've never been very attracted to the books he's written. The books that I have read of his are not in the horror genre. I've read, I read The Body. That's a short story, and so is The Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah.
The short story. I've read those, and I read The Eyes of the Dragon.
Read that one too.
And they were all very good. Not horror. But the one I did read that was horror was Carrie.
Yes.
And that was really good. I like that. But that was also it's a teenage angst story. And at the time I was a teenager, so it
connected.
It worked. But something like Pet Sematary, I would never want to read. I would never want to watch.
Well, The Shining is one of my favorites.
Okay. You mean the book or the movie?
The book is actually one of my favorites of his.
Now that we're so off topic right now, let me just ask you, what about the book and the movie? The Stanley Kubrick version?
Oh, God, no.
No?
I can't. I enjoy the Stanley. It's like I have to separate them because they're two separate entities because it's nothing like the book. Nothing at all.
That far off.
They're at a hotel. That's pretty much it. They're
Right.
at a hotel. Danny can see dead people. That is the gist of it.
Okay, fair enough. Do you have any closing thoughts on Pet Sematary?
I'll give it my all. I'll try and watch it. I'll go in there hoping it'll come out good. I've been waiting for a remake for this for a while. They've discussed it. It's been like 9 years they've been discussing remaking this movie.
You actually want that remake?
I want a remake. I want a modern version of it.
Why? What's wrong with the 89 version?
There's nothing really wrong with the 89 version. It's just it feels like it's the 89 version.
It's too dated.
It's dated. It's not something that you can be like, okay, it's timeless. You know, not my. It's
I definitely didn't feel it was timeless. Yeah, I mean, I felt 80s all over it when I was watching it. Yeah,
and sometimes that's not a bad thing.
Depending on what it's about. Yeah, I guess you're right.
But for this, it felt like a bad thing.
I don't know what the public reaction is so far. What do you think?
A lot of people were upset about the Switch.
They are. Well, maybe Stephen King saying he approves of it will lessen that.
I don't know.
I think it'll do well.
He approved of the Dark Tower, and that pissed a lot of people off.
That's all I think I had to say on Pet Sematary. I hope that with this remake, I hope that they make the father character a little less stupid.
Seriously.
Let's put it that way.
Everyone's telling me no.
I think
I'll do it.
If you're going to redo something, redo that and just make him a bit more like maybe questioning. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Because he never did. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
Well, if you wanted to give us a rating in iTunes, please do. Make it a 5-star one. Go ahead and leave us a comment, too, and hit that subscribe button. You can email us directly at pconblast@gmail.com. You can also visit our website at popcultureonblast.libsyn.com. You can also follow us on Twitter. The handle is the name of the show, Pop Culture on Blast. Is that with or without an exclamation point?
Without an exclamation point.
Without an exclamation
you can just search
point.
us.
Yeah. Okay. Until next time, I'm Josh.
And I'm Tim.